Good morning, and how are you today? Boy, am I feeling camp. Totally camp today. And that's the theme for today's wine recipe, camp wine. If you haven't heard of camp before, it is a chicory and coffee substitute that was popular back in the 70s and 80s. Old people, I always assume old people make camp coffee. I don't know why, it's just something that old people love to make for some reason. Anyway, camp coffee, I always laugh when I hear that name, camp coffee, is, well, if you haven't tried it, make yourself a cup and see if you fancy this wine. Because this wine is dead simple to make, and it makes a wonderful, dark, stout-like wine, which is ideal for winters. It's ideal for those dark, thunderous nights when you want to settle down and enjoy a wine that is rich, thick, tickles your taste buds and tickles every part of your body in a very camp way. So let's get on and make this wonderful camp wine. The base ingredient for this wine is 241 millilitres of chicory and coffee essence, camp in other words. Why 241 millilitres, I hear you ask? Very rightly true. It's because of the size of the bottle. It comes in 241 litres? Not 241 litres. It comes in 241 millilitre bottles. So that is the amount we are adding to make 1 gallon of camp coffee. So the first step in making this camp coffee wine is to pour in your 241 millilitres of chicory and coffee camp essence into a big saucepan. And now we want to pour into the camp coffee in the saucepan 250 grams of raisins or sultanas. It doesn't matter which. They just tend to add a bit more body and bite and stoutness to the wine. So pour them in on top of your camp. I love making wines where you just throw everything into the saucepan. Make it, boil it, ferment it, drink it. They are so simple. So next thing we want to add to the wine is the juice of 1 lemon. Now, you may be asking why there's a big chunk out of my lemon. Well, that is simply because I had a gin and tonic last night. Simple reason, obvious really, but hey. Anyway, cut your lemon in half, either 3/4 of a lemon or half a lemon or a whole lemon. It doesn't really matter, as long as you get that lovely citrusy juice into there. That acidity will help the yeast ferment and give it a good afterbite, a good vinosity. So squeeze that juice in on top of your camp, on top of your raisins, shove the whole lot in. And now, the next ingredient we are adding is 1.2 kilograms of sugar. Normal granulated sugar, just pour it on top of your camp, on top of your raisins, on top of your lemon juice. Pour it in, good stuff. The next thing we are adding to the stock pot, to the saucepan, to your lovely camp wine, is 1 licorice root stick. Now the licorice will really add a great flavour to the wine. It will work really well to bring out the flavours of the chicory from your camp coffee essence. Now the camp coffee essence also does contain sugar. That's why I'm only using 1.2 kilograms of sugar, because the camp coffee has sugar in already. This wine will give you about a 14%er, which is great for that winter warmer, that lovely, rich, dark, essencey wine that you can just slurp away in a wine glass. It's rich, it's mature, it's bold, it's strong the taste buds, and it's great for warming you up in winter. What we want to do now is add your water to the mix. So pour over 4 litres of water to the saucepan. Give it a really good stir to mix in that sugar and the raisins with the camp coffee, the licorice and the lemon juice. Now, this is a brilliant part of the recipe because you want to fill your home full of essence of camp. Make your home smell like camp. Totally camp out your house. So put your saucepan onto the stove to bring it up to the boil and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. And I'll be back with you in a minute now after I've absorbed more camp. And I'll see you really soon now. The campness is radiating through my home this afternoon. The aroma is beautiful, divine. It is camp, it is brilliant, and oh, it's so stout Guinness-like. I can't wait for you to do the taste test with this wine when you make it. So that came to the boil and was simmering for 20 minutes, half an hour. Then I let it cool down to just over room temperature. It's brilliant, it is. So the next step now is to remove all those raisins, the licorice roots and the lemon chunks from your divine liquid. So what we want to do is grab yourself a funnel and a clean demijohn, combine the two and filter all the raisins through a pair of tights, or you can use a sieve. Now, I keep on losing my funnels. I don't know where they go, they just disappear, I lose them. So I ordered myself a brand new one. And this came. Now, don't know about you, but this reminds me of a shiwi. Trust me, it's not. It has never been used as a shiwi, but every time I see this, I do think of a shiwi. So from now on, I'm going to refer to my funnel as my shiwi, because it is. It isn't, but it is a shiwi. So grab yourself a pair of ladies' tights and put it into your shiwi. I'm not going to say anything about this, but grab your shiwi with your tights in and insert the end of your shiwi into your clean, sanitised, sterilised demijohn and pour in the liquid into your demijohn and strain out all of those raisins or sultanas, lemon juice and licorice root. Fantastic. So in it goes. The colour of this wine is such a dark chestnutty. It does look as though my shiwi is really dehydrated and needs more liquid. It is going to be a brilliant dark wine. Not a red, not a white, it's going to be a brown wine, which is brilliant for those winter nights. Now, as my shiwi is trickling out this dark brown colour liquid, the aroma coming off is chicory and licorice, and they are combining and merging and giving off a rich, whisky, smoky aroma, and it's divine, brilliant. With your 4 litres of camp wine in your demijohn, filled up to the shoulders, it's time now to add our yeast. You can use any type of wine yeast that you fancy for this wine, a general purpose or something a bit more special. I am using a Christmas pudding wine by CrossMyLoof. Now this wine yeast really brings out the chicory and the licorice flavour and the camp coffee essence and really makes it fantastic. So simply pour in your wine yeast to your camp coffee wine. Fantastic. Now insert a clean airlock that's been filled up with your favourite liquid, be it vodka or water or even glycerine, into your demijohn and set this aside and let it bubble, let it ferment, let it go wild and have a party in your demijohn. In a few days after that party, that vigorous, fervid fermentation, you want to top up your demijohn with water, cold water, unboiled, doesn't matter, top it up to the neck, then set this wine aside and let it carry on fermenting. Then, once it's finished fermenting, rack it off any sediment that is thrown, set it aside again in a dark place for 3 or 6 months. Give it a taste test, give it another rack, experiment with it and see how long you fancy leaving it for. With this wine, I have found 6 months is the bare minimum you want to leave it for, but you may want to try it sooner. It's always worth having a taste test and finding out when your wine is going to be ready. In the meantime, whilst this wine is fermenting away and becoming awesome, you want to go and make a load more wines. So why don't you check out this video up by here for another brilliant wine recipe. You have a good day now, and I'll see you really soon. Bye bye.